paint on my hand because I just came back from a paint night, and the first thing that came to mind was I'm working late because I'm an artist. So stupid. There are a lot of pages in my sketchbook that I absolutely can't stand, but I'm trying to get out of the habit of ripping them out because as an artist, you're going to make bad art, you're going to make mistakes. There are some canvases I have painted back at home because I'm currently in college. I have back in my parents' place, and I absolutely think they're disgusting and I want to throw them away. So that's what I want to talk about, what to do when you absolutely hate your artwork. First off, I want to say give yourself some grace. If you hate your artwork that you created back then, maybe a few years ago, even a month ago, please give yourself some grace. Understand you're in a different place now and you didn't have the necessary skills or maybe the necessary learning or just discipline, in other words, to create the piece you actually wanted. No one is an expert from birth. You're not going to make everything that looks good. Like if your art is an extension of yourself, understand this, that if your every action doesn't make someone happy, if you had some point upset someone, it's at another point you're gonna disappoint yourself, if that makes any sense. If your art is an extension of you, I would say that who you are and what kind of person you are will be translated into your art. Like if you're an imperfect person like everyone else, like everyone in the world is, obviously in some ways your art is going to be imperfect. Your art is not going to always be the absolute best of the best. It's not always going to be a masterpiece, and that's okay. Allow yourself to make bad art because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. You're going to create paintings that you try to do without the necessary lessons or like the necessary lessons in shading. Like there are some pieces I have created and I'm like, oh, that looks terrible because I didn't blend it right, because I didn't shade it, because I didn't take the time to learn that. But now I am getting better at that. So, like, yeah, I know I keep repeating myself, but again, I'm going to say it until you get it into your head. Give yourself some grace. Another point I want to add is take a break. Really take some time to reflect, or maybe you're already on a break. Really ask yourself, why do I hate my art? Do you hate it because you think you could do better? Or do you hate it because you think someone else could have done it better? Do you hate it because someone else doesn't like it? Or do you simply hate it because you think it's just bad? And that's okay if you simply think it's just bad. But if you're noticing a pattern where you hate piece after piece after piece, really dive deep into why you hate it. And I think by diving deep into why you hate it, you can learn what you do like. And you can learn to incorporate things you like while still taking risks, while also not creating something that you deem is bad. I hope that makes sense in some way. For me, I realized why I hated so many paintings of mine is because they didn't turn out the way I wanted. Like similarly, you have an outfit and you're like, oh, it's terrible now because the colors don't match. But not only did I not like it because I thought it could be better, it's just like I thought I should have been better. Like I understand it's a process, but like I was like, I should be, like Claude Monet. Like I don't want to be Claude Monet, but my painting should be at his level. Not understanding that I didn't have the years, the practice, or the discipline that he may have had, you know. And I was also frustrated because I didn't want to learn the skills in order to get better at certain areas. I just wanted to be self taught. I wanted to be already great at it, which goes into my personal life of where I have a hard time to accept help. I should be able to do it on my own, which is not always the case. It's okay to accept help. It's okay if you're not at the level where you think you should be. I don't think a lot of people are at the level they think they should be. And that's okay. That's life just happens. But I would say go back to my point is just if you're if you hate your artwork because you think you should be self-taught, I think you need to dive deeper into that and understand that you don't have to be self-taught to be a great artist. It's okay to receive help. Receiving help does not make you less of an artist. Finding tricks or loopholes to do certain paintings does not make you less of an artist. It does not make your art less worthy to be sold, or it should not be deemed less worthy in your eyes. You know, if you wouldn't think less of a person for receiving help, for receiving teaching, why do you think less of yourself for doing that? And also really think about how that can be seen. Because I thought, I don't think my friends should be self-taught, but I do. So it's just like, how can she believe me? How can she not feel like I'm not judging her if I'm judging myself for that same thing? You know? You see where the that level of hypocrite can come in, you know? And it's just like, no, that makes sense. That made no sense. Just no. Really consider the standards you hold yourself to in other areas in your life, and understand that that can affect your art as well. Sorry, I can't talk. Also, understand you're not going to be better in a day. Sometimes you just need to draw it out to create that one bad piece to get that great artwork. Maybe it takes 10 bad drawings to create that masterpiece. But just take a break, take a moment to reflect. But just really ask yourself, why is this considered bad? Another question with that, is it bad because you don't think it's sell worthy? That is another problem I have with my sketches. I'm like, oh, I can't turn this into a print, so automatically that's bad, you know? But no, that's not the case. Not every drawing, not every painting is meant to be sold. By trying to make every drawing, by every painting, quote unquote, sell worthy, you're almost taking the fun out of it for yourself in a way. Like, yes, as a small business, you want to create pieces that people sell so you can make an income. But at the same time, if you love art, if art is truly your passion, don't just create for other people. Make sure you're creating for yourself. Make sure that you're satisfying that passion that you had when you first started, you know? Make sure the passion is still there. I hated some pieces because it reflected who I didn't want to see. What I mean by that is a lot of my pieces were chaotic, and some people like chaotic, some people don't. And for me, I like chaotic, but I feel like it was too much for other people and that they wouldn't understand it, and that made me translate into automatically it's bad. Don't think your artwork is bad just because you think certain people won't get it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but you can't base your art on the opinion of others. At least not solely on the opinion of others. You can get feedback from them. You can get ask them like, "Hey, what can I do better in?" But at the end of the day, it is your opinion that you have to sleep with at night. It is your opinion that matters. You have to ask yourself at the end of the day, will you be satisfied with it? Because the people who don't like it, the people who will like it, they'll just move on. They'll be okay with it. But if you're like me, who constantly thinks of every painting that they don't like and beats themselves up for it, you will think about it at the end of the day. So just remember that. You're not gonna like every piece that you made. It's just have you been pleased with every action you've done? No. Have you been pleased with every person you encountered? No. Have you been pleased with every assignment you turned into class? No, because you understood you did the bare minimum, or you didn't like the assignment, but you did what you had to do. It happens with art. It just happens. Even though you may like it, even though it may be your passion, it happens. Think of it as like a romantic relationship. You may love that person with every fiber in your being, that you may consider them your soulmate. But there are going to be some things where you argue about and you're like, oh, they just don't get it. There are going to be moments where you're like, I wish they would change in this way. Or maybe you don't. But there are definitely going to be moments where you're going to be like, ugh, aggravated. It happens. So it happens in your relationships. If it happens in other areas in your life, it can definitely happen with art. With hating your piece, understand that if you hate it, if you like it, you literally don't have to show it. No one has to see it. It doesn't have to leave your sketchbook. It doesn't have to leave past your eyes or your friend's eyes or whoever. You don't have to show it. If it's a minor dislike of your drawing in a sketchbook, I would say don't throw it out. I would say don't throw it out because you want to be reminded, like, hey, every piece is not going to be a masterpiece. Sometimes you have to draw it out before you get your ultimate masterpiece. Sometimes you just need to chicken scratch, you know, to get your perfect portrait or whatever. So, yeah, that's one thing you can do when you don't like your artwork. Another thing is you can always recycle it. You can always cut your piece up, use it as a mixed media. I know I've mentioned this before, but it's something I also want to do because there are some canvases that they may have holes in them. So I would cut up a canvas of something, cut up a canvas of a painting I don't like, and glue it to the back of the other painting to cover up the hole. And it has worked for me so far. So that's one thing you can do. But yeah, you can also cut it up, paste it to a poster board, paste it to another canvas. You can do a multitude of things with it, but understand there are other options. The option to ball it up is still there. But if you don't want your trash can to be full, if you want to use the paper, because there's so much waste in the world already, think about using it as mixed media. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to another video of me rambling. Have any other topics you would like me to cover? Please let me know. I want this to be a safe space to discuss anything while still involving art. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good morning. Bye.